Good morning, everyone, or I guess maybe good afternoon, depending on where you're located. Thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We're gonna wait a minute or two just for a few more people to hop on before we jump into the webinar. Okay, it looks like we're getting a few more people jumping on. So for those who don't know me, I am Mackenzie Strait, and I'm based out of Houston, Texas. Again, we do appreciate y'all being here today and taking the time out of your busy schedules. We are really excited to introduce you to one of our newest properties in the collection, Milaidhoo, Maldives. This property is a boutique island retreat that's all about barefoot luxury with a bit of soul. It's the kind of place where guests can slow down, reconnect, and enjoy a meaningful experience surrounded by the natural beauty that obviously you can just see in this photo right here. This property is perfect for honeymooners, anniversary trips, or any client who's looking for something more authentic and intimate than, your typical like luxury resort. We're also thrilled to share that one lucky attendee will win a 3-night stay for two in a water pool villa, including half board and a return seaplane transfer back. This will be awarded after the webinar today. Please know that if you do have any questions, we will be answering them at the end of the webinar. So feel free to put those into the Q&A section, and then we'll make sure to address those at the end. With that, it is my pleasure to hand things over to Jordan, Director of Sales, who will take over things and explain all that Milaidhoo has to offer.
Thank you very much, Mackenzie, and thank you to everybody who has joined once again. My name is Jordan, the Director of Sales, and I have the absolute pleasure to talk to you a little bit today about our beautiful island, which is Milaidhoo, Maldives. Let me just move the screen. Wonderful. So I'll talk to you about our patch of paradise in the Maldives. It's called Milaidhoo, Maldives, and it's a very small boutique property, like Mackenzie mentioned. I'll give you a bit more insight into it as we progress with the presentation. So our key words over here is a story of a small island. And when I say a small island, it actually is a really small, cozy island. Whoops, that was a bit fast. So here we go. So in terms of location, we're located very close to the UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, which is, well, I think I missed this. Yeah, which is one of the key locations in the Maldives in terms of marine life and biodiversity. So, just in terms of where the property is located, we're very blessed to have a rich marine life around us within a 10-15 minute boat ride, should we want to visit the Biosphere Reserve. And also, that allows us with a rich marine life within our own island, where we have our house reef that goes across the entire resort. Now, in terms of reaching the resort, there are a few modes of transportation that we usually do use in the Maldives. The primary and most convenient option would be our seaplane option. So the journey begins right at the airport, where your guests would be met by our airport representative. We'll meet them, guide them to our seaplane lounge, where they will then check into the seaplane itself, and then take a short 35-minute ride straight to the airport. I mean, straight to the resort. So the flight lands literally 5 minutes away from the resort, where they will then be picked up by speedboat and brought to the resort with their butler on the boat. Now, this is the primary option. Uh, of course, there may be occasions where certain international flights may arrive a bit later in the day, or there could perhaps be times where a guest may not want to fly in a seaplane and do prefer a larger aircraft. And for those reasons, we will have a second option, which is a domestic flight. Again, very similar in terms of the arrival experience, where they will be still met by our team at the airport. But instead of taking them to the seaplane, we will then take them to the domestic flight, from where they will take the flight, which is a short 15-minute journey, flying time. They will land at a local airport, which is close to the resort. And from there, they will be met by our team again, picked up by the speedboat, and brought to the resort. This boat journey is approximately 30 minutes in time frame. So all in all, the time between both the seaplane and the domestic option are fairly very similar, but of course providing two very different experiences. Now, moving on to the villas and residences that we have to offer. On property, we have 50 beautiful villas across four different villa categories. The first category that we talk about is our leading category, the water pool villa, which you can see in the screen ahead, which is 245 square meters large, and we have 29 units of these. Now, something which you will notice as we go through the different room categories is that during the entire conceptual stage of this property, the designers were very keen to provide the guests with complete, how do I say, with as much inclusion to the nature outside as possible. And for that reason, every villa will provide a 180-degree view from the villa to the outside area. So in the water villa space, you see the unobstructed views of the ocean exactly out ahead, and on the beach, you will have a similar experience. In terms of accommodations, we do allocate two adults and one extra person in this villa, so it'll be two plus one as the maximum occupancy. Now, this is the image of the bathing area. And like I was mentioning, the entire concept is to provide as much as view, as much as you can be close to the outside as possible. And hence, you have these sliding doors that open completely wide, not just in the bedroom, but also in the bathing area. What you'll notice as well over here is the small amenities Aqua de Parma. This is what we use across the board in all the villa categories that we have on offer. Also, every villa will come with its own butler, so all guests staying will have a butler that they have during the entire duration of their stay with us. This is a beautiful view of the outside area. Again, panoramic views of the ocean. And as I mentioned a bit earlier, we have a stunning house reef which encircles the entire resort completely. So, from all villas, be it the water villa or the beach villa, guests could go in straight into the ocean and swim across into the house reef. They could have either that option or they could go to different parts of the beach, whichever one they're more comfortable with. Moving on to our second category, which is the beach pool villa. Again, the picture I think says it all with the expansive opening sliding windows, providing panoramic views of the outdoor space and the beautiful deck outdoors and the beach over there. What's important to note in the beach pool villa is that in this particular photograph, you can see that there's a lot of vegetation across. So we do offer different villa categories. I mean, same villas, but with different views, as each guest have different varying preferences. Some of them would prefer to see the beach and the ocean straight away from the bed. Some guests would prefer a bit more vegetation and some more privacy. And for that reason, we have a few variations amongst the beach villas, and which we can, of course, take into consideration at the time of booking any preferences that the guests may have. Once again, here the accommodation would be based on two adults plus one. And if you can see my cursor, there's a bed over here, which is a sofa bed, which could be converted into an additional bed. If they would want a rollaway bed, that's also possible and will be put at the foot of the main bed over here. Large bathing area, both with indoor as well as outdoor showers. Again, Aqua de Parma amenities are going to be used in the villa. Also, one thing that you'll notice is high ceilings. So we have a lot of beautiful high ceilings across all the villas. So it does give a nice air of openness, which does make a very big difference when you walk into the villa. All right. Moving on to the third villa category, this is our beach residence, which is 490 square meters large, and we have two of these units available. It's very similar to the beach pool villa that we've just seen. The biggest difference here is what you notice is the space right in the center. This is the living area, and that would be the major difference when it comes to the beach residence in terms of the accommodation area. So it is this living space which is additional together with a larger swimming pool on the outdoor deck area. Otherwise, the concept again is very similar. It's all about that openness that we provide and we want to provide with our guests, especially when we have these beautiful vegetation outside, this beautiful beach and unobstructed views. That's what our guests do visit the Maldives for, and hence it was quite important for us to offer that to the guests while they were with us. Moving on to the fourth category, which is the highest category that we have to offer. It's our two-bedroom ocean residence. We have one of these units available on the island at 564 square meters large, and this offers both sunrise as well as sunset views. So now all the three categories that we've seen previously, they were all one-bedroom accommodation villas. The ocean residence is the only two-bedroom option that we have on the island. This is the beautiful indoor space. Again, very high ceilings, beautiful layout. And just small information here, this villa has been recently refurbished and renovated. So it's fully improved, and it's just been ready, and it's available since the past 1 week now after its refurbishment. With the residences, it will come with a private butler. So, whereas in the first two villa categories that we saw, which is the beach pool villa and the water pool villa, the butlers may share two or three other villas at the same time. However, with the residence categories, you will have one private butler allocated at all times to the guest staying over here. So now with the ocean residence, in the second bedroom, it's a twin bed, which can be put in together and made into a king size bed. So it all depends on the number of people staying. If it's friends traveling, it can be put in together. If it's a family with a bit elder children, we can then leave it as a twin bed setting. Before I proceed further in terms of the residence category, I just wanted to highlight a few additional key benefits that guests would receive if they stay with us in a beach residence or an ocean residence. So, apart from this beautiful villa, apart from the fact that they will also have a private butler, there are certain amenities and benefits that are automatically attached together with this category. So, the first one would be a private chef. So at all times, at all restaurants, if the guests would have any requests in terms of food preferences, in terms of what they want to eat, the chef will be there to kind of curate the menu based on their preferences. That's one key point. The second one is we have a beautiful yacht, which the guests would have access to, which is 3 hours of the yacht usage during their stay with us. The third one is they would have laundry service during their stay, complete laundry service, which is again a key point for the guest staying all the way in the Maldives. Additionally, then we have a beautiful outdoor deck, which you've seen in the first photograph. So we will use that to do a beautiful outdoor barbecue dinner for the guests, whichever night they prefer, and as well as a movie night under the stars. So these are a few benefits and amenities that go along with the residence villa category. Now, moving on to the restaurants and bars options that we have on property. We will start with the first one, which is the Ocean Restaurant. Ocean Restaurant is our all day dining option, which is open for breakfast, lunch, as well as dinner. And as you can see in this photograph, it's located right at the beach, beautiful views of the ocean. So as we go through the other restaurants, you notice a similar pattern where each restaurant is located at beautiful points of the island, providing our guests with these amazing views. And also, one key element here is living towards the concept of the island, where we kind of provide this laid back luxury, a bit of peace and calmness on property. We don't have any speaker systems or music playing in these restaurants. It's all about listening to the waves crashing, listening to the wind and the trees blowing, and that's the entire concept. And that's basically the background music for our guests when they dine at the restaurants. The second option is Azure, which is again located on the beach, which is open for lunch. Third option is the Shoreline Grill, which is open for dinner on a daily basis, and it's what we say is the best place, and where we serve the art of grilling. So it's mainly meat cuts as well as seafood options. Now, in this image, you'll notice that there are seating indoor as indoor, but as you will see a bit on the outside, there are tables and cabanas outside, and I would tell you about 90%, rather 100% of the time, it's always guests that they decide to sit outdoors in those beautiful cabanas with some nice candlelights, because the evening setting, sunset is just so beautiful. It doesn't That's the best place to kind of be. So we have seatings both indoor as well as outside, but outside is the spot to be. Now, within the Shoreline Grill, we also have a private chef's table. So, should they want something different, a bit more experiential, this is an outlet which they can book separately with the chef. Moving on to Batali by the Reef, this is something which is very unique. It's the first and only Maldivian fine dining restaurant in the world, and in the Maldives included. So this is a really stunning place that we do have on offer. It's also our signature restaurant, and it's really, really unique in its way. So this Batali boat is actually a cargo boat that was used many years ago during the spice route for trading spices from the Maldives to the Gulf. So the entire concept is to serve authentic Maldivian cuisine, fine dining service, and of course to utilize spices that were there in the spice route. So it's a very beautiful experience that the guests can have when they stay with us at the resort. And once again, beautiful sunset views from the spot over here. Moving on to the bars. So with Batali, we have one boat which serves as a restaurant, and we have another boat which is the lounge and the bar area. So it's an entire nice evening journey where the guests can come in about 5:30, 6 p.m., have a few drinks, watch the sunset, and then make their way to the second boat, which is the restaurant outlet. Lastly, we have Compass Pool Bar, which is open all day, serving cocktails, mocktails, and a wide variety of other beverages. We also serve lunch at this restaurant, which is open from 12 all through to 6 p.m. So it's a bit more of a laid back setting, a bit more of a pool vibe over here. And this would be the only spot on the island in terms of the restaurant outlets where we have live music daily. So, which starts in the evening at 6, which is just before the golden hours, which is the sunset time, all through till late at night. Now, the facilities, of course, while staying on property, you are staying on an island with not too much access to the outside, and hence there's a lot of other facilities on property to kind of take care of our guests and provide them with different activities. So one of them being the most important, which is a beautiful spa. And if you can have a spa over the water, why not, right? So we have 4 beautiful treatment rooms and one yoga pavilion right in the center over there. All of the spa rooms are couple treatment rooms with beautiful bathtubs and all facing the ocean directly. This is the yoga pavilion, which is right in the center of the space, and where we offer yoga every day in the morning at 8 a.m. on a complimentary basis for our guests. We have a resident yogi on the property as well. So we do have daily activities for guests as a group sessions, but of course there will always be opportunity for them to book anything outside the hour or during the day at sunset if they have any special preferences. Ocean Stories is where we talk about and provide activities regarding the ocean, something that's really beautiful experience that we can have on property over here. Now, with the activities, the photograph that you see over here is a traditional boat. We call this, the boat is named Saima. It's a beautiful old rustic Maldivian style Dhoni, which we use for our evening activities, being sunset cruises or a dolphin cruise, or even diving experiences over here. This boat will also have a bedroom indoors, so it can also be booked for a few hours in a day. Should the guests want to go out to a sandbank, or if they want to take the boat out for a few hours and have lunch on the boat, it's also possible. We have a wide list of activities and excursions that we have already on offer in terms of a menu. But apart from that, it's limitless in what we can offer, which is why our butlers play a key role in the guest experiences that we have to offer, because it's all about our butlers understanding the guest need and look and understanding what they are looking for, and accordingly we then cater certain activities which may sometimes not be on the menu, but we do understand the guest prefers or has a different preference, and then we can always curate something based on that. Now, maximizing the space of the beach, we have beautiful destination dining. So, apart from the restaurant outlets that we have, we also have destination dinings, which cater a bit more to the romantic side of things for proposals, for special celebrations. We have a nice different varieties of options that we can provide. And again, we have a nice calendar of things the guest can choose from. But again, it's all up to imagination and what the guest wants to bring to life, and we will help them do that for them. So we have these setups which can be taken place on our island, which is the beach on the island, or we also have a sandbank, which is a 15 minutes boat journey away from the resort, which we can also utilize for special dining events. So this image here actually is an image of the sandbank itself. So while I was talking about a potential destination dining venue on a sandbank, we also have a beautiful experience that we call sleeping under the stars, which we organize in the sandbank. So in this image, you'll notice that the furniture used is exactly identical to what's in the villa. The entire concept is for to replicate the guest stay, which is on resort, but onto a private sandbank. And this, to me, is by far one of the most surreal experiences that anybody could have, because staying on a small patch of sand in the middle of the ocean with no light pollution, with no sun pollution, and you can actually see the entire Milky Way, it really is a memory for a lifetime. And if anybody would want to do something special, this is always my first recommendation. Now, talking about a bit of the marine life, as I mentioned initially about the UNESCO Biosphere Reserve being extremely close to where we're located, one of the key points of this Reserve is that manta rays. It's highly populated by manta rays, and it's one of the most dense population in the entire world. So people from all over the world who do want to come in for manta rays, this is the ideal location for it. And it's a short 15-minute boat journey from where we're located. And apart from mantas, we also have whale sharks. So these two options are again bucket list moments for many, and it's just at our doorstep. And the beautiful thing here is that the season to see and to experience mantas and whale sharks starts in May and goes all the way towards the end of October. So it's a very large portion of the year where we have access to these experiences and these activities on offer for our guests. So these activities can be done in groups, or they can also be done in private trips, depending on what the guest would like to do. The image on the right hand side is just to give you an understanding of what a movie under the stars would look like for our guests if they would like to experience that. Again, with romantic stories, we do have many opportunities where sometimes guests would come in and want to do renewal of vows, or even post-wedding celebrations and photography sessions post wedding, and which is also possible on our island. And once again, it's possible on our island as well as at the sandbank. And that would be the end of the presentation. But just one small thing I would like to add on is in terms of our house reef. So while we do have a lot of these activities which would require a boat and our guests to travel a bit outside, about 15-20 minutes away from the island, our house reef basically encircles the entire island, as I mentioned earlier, and is very rich and very colorful reef. It's one of the most ideal locations, and we actually have people, rather from resorts from other properties as well, coming over sometimes to kind of use our reef for diving spots and also for snorkeling excursions. So it just kind of shows you how rich the marine life is just within our island itself, which again is a very important aspect of every guest stay out here in the Maldives. So that's a quick summary of the property. Of course, if there's any questions that you had or something you would like me to touch upon a bit more in detail, happy to address it now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was an amazing presentation and very, very informative. We appreciate it. We do have one
Thank you.
question from Julia. Can you tell us what the best time to cut? Like, can you explain high and low season and how that weather varies?
All right. So the low season is pretty much purely because of the monsoon season, which starts from late May all through till early September. But again, the really important factor here is it's a tropical country, and even though we do say it's monsoon season from May to September, we haven't had rain in the past 3 or 4 weeks. So it's really chance, if I'm being very honest. But again, from what I understand, with guests who do come in from the US, would I believe stay for at least 7 nights stay, approximately that would be the length of stay. And within this time frame, I can be for certain you will have at least 70% of sunshine, if not more.
Perfect.
But again, it's
Um,
all upon nature.
and Jordan, do you have any images of the boats that you use for the reef visits? Or like what do those look like? If you don't have a
All right.
photograph.
So our house reef, we would not use a boat because you can literally step out either from your water villa deck or straight from your beach if you're in a beach villa. So it's literally a few meters away from the island. And of course, there could be certain parts of the island where the reef access is a bit further, which requires a bit more swimming, but it's all accessible straight from the island. So you would not need a boat to go to the house reef. It's directly available there. And of course, we have our team on the island as well who can guide the guests to kind of point to them in the right direction as to the best access points or the best areas to go snorkel.
Beautiful. Um, we have another question asking if the resort is all inclusive. I know that you guys may offer half board or full board, but can you go into more detail on that?
Sure. So our base plan is half board. So every guest who pretty much who books with us would usually be on a half board meal plan automatically. And we have an all-inclusive, which is what we call the Milaidhoo gourmet plan, which would then include all the other restaurant options, basically. So it includes all the restaurants that I spoke about. And at the same time, when I mentioned the private dining with the chef, that would also be included if a Milaidhoo gourmet plan is booked. Of course, there could be certain terms and conditions based on the length of stay, but the idea is to have a complete gourmet experience on the island.
Beautiful. Do you guys have any availability for festive 2025?
Yes, we do have available at the moment.
Okay. How much availability do you guys have? Like,
I would say if it's a discussion or if it's a topic about water pool villa and beach pool villas as a guest preference, you're free to book. It's on free sale at the moment. If it's a
mhm.
residence category, we would require to check based on the duration of stay or based on the arrival dates,
Okay,
just because the inventory on those categories are very limited. But
perfect.
with the beach and the water pool villa, you're more than welcome to sell those.
Okay. Well, it looks like we have answered all of our questions. But everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We do really appreciate it. We're going to be reaching out with Jordan's contact information, and then you'll also get sent a video of this presentation that we just ran through, so you'll have it on hand. And then we'll be reaching out with the winner of the 3 night stay as well after this webinar. But again, thank you for taking the time. We appreciate it, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, anyone from the Lush sales team, or to Jordan himself.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mackenzie, and thank you everybody else for joining as well. And like Mackenzie mentioned, for any further questions, more than welcome to reach out.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Bye bye.